Yo, still bills, what's the diz hill, man? It's 90 degrees out here, man. Scalding hot. I got in the car, could barely breathe in this motherfucker. But it's summertime, shit is up. I'm gonna slide through the neighborhood today, go check in on one of my youngins, man. It's his birthday today. Just go tap in with the homie, man. Just kick it with him for a minute before I go home. We'll come back home. But peep game, man, I want to talk about something. And that is tomorrow's festivities. With Dorticos Resorto, Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Jake Paul. But mainly I want to talk about Floyd Schofield versus Tevin Farmer, because I think that's the most competitive bout on the card, man. And I want to just give my thoughts on it, man, and why I think the way that I'm thinking, man. Because I ain't gonna cap, man. I still have a very high opinion of Tevin Farmer. I don't know why my hair be doing that shit. I still have a very high opinion of Tevin Farmer, bro. I think that dude is dead nice. I think he's game for most of the division. I think he's a potential champion in the division. You dig? Now that Keyshawn is gone, I would like his chances in front. Well, shit, we already saw what happened with Zepeda. I like Tevin Farmer as a fighter. I think that dude does not get the credit he deserves. When all these bitch ass niggas talk about the slick black American, his name is always left out of the conversation, and that shit aggravates me. I don't like it, because I feel like he is the personification of what it means to be slick. I'm tired of just motherfuckers thinking that because you fight on the outside and you stay so far away out of the field of combat that automatically makes you slick. It doesn't. It's slickness to it. And if you can do something off of that foot movement, then yeah, you can definitely equate it to being slick. But nigga, running is not just being slick. I'm tired of that shit, Brody. When you in the pocket, it takes a lot more. It's a lot more difficult to get, to get under a hook in the pocket. It's a lot more difficult. Why? Because you are right there to be touched. It's a lot more difficult to do that. There is a slickness to being an outboxer, but it's a little bit more elevated when you're sitting there in the pocket and you rolling with the punches, you getting up under the shots, and I'm not just one shot. We talking combinations and shit. You're consistently finding ways around the shots. I think that shit it's a travesty that his name never gets mentioned when it comes to slick black Americans, man. But nonetheless, I want to talk about this fight and just how I think how I personally think this fight is going to go, man. I think, it is weird that Floyd Schofield, I don't know, this has been a really weird year for him, man, because he was promised two fights that he found a way to wiggle his way out of, bro. The Shakur Stevenson fight, all that drama that went on with that, him up in the hospital, and that whole ordeal was just weird, man. And when it starts getting weird like that, I just tune it out. So I don't even have all the pieces of details in regards to that, because I'm like, this is beyond my field of recognition right here, because I don't like this, Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless soap opera bullshit, man. I'm here for what's happening in the ring. If it's something that, if it's a presser, everything that's leading up to the fight, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for the dog and pony show. I'm not here for the theatrics. Y'all can have the baddies east bullshit, man. I'm not into that. I'm here for the drama that's eventually gonna go down in the ring when y'all face off with one another. So I mean, a lot of the shit that went on with them Schofield, I missed, because I'm not into it. I'm not into it, man. I don't, you are laying up in the bed with you just laying in the bed, in the hospital bed, sick allegedly. They did something with your passport. They called the police on you. You dig? They poisoned you. All type of. I'm like, yo, you know what? This is where I get off at. I'm cool. And then, with the Abdullah Mason thing, I was really excited about that. But I think when it comes to Abdullah Mason, you pulled out of that fight, because how would it look that you lost to an up-and-comer in Abdullah Mason? How would that look with you when you are supposed to, where you're at in your career in the now? You dig? It could really be a black eye on your career if you lost to a dude who had yet to be in a 10-rounder or a 12-rounder. So, hey, I get it, but it's still like, bro, like, damn. And so now you think you got an easy win in Tevin Farmer, because Tevin Farmer is coming off of 3 losses. But with Tevin Farmer coming off of those 3 losses, his fight with Raymond Mutataya was extremely all of his fights were extremely competitive. All of his fights were extremely competitive, man. Raymond Mutataya, Tevin got a point deducted or whatever the case may be. And I can't remember what he got the point deducted for, but I do remember him having an issue with it. But he caught a little bit of momentum after that, and he was able to, squeak out the fight. But Tevin Farmer was in there doing damage. He was in there doing damage, and he had Raymond Mutataya looking really pedestrian. Because, Raymond Mutataya isn't the fighter that William Zepeda is. William Zepeda is just a straight up and down pressure fighter who just wants to come at you and throw a million punches in a fight. So, Raymond Mutataya is more of a thinker. He's more of a boxer. He's more to, he's just not coming in there as a Gatling gun. The dude is looking to set up shots and walk you into counters. And when someone ain't giving you that opportunity, it's harder to look good against. So I think after him fighting someone like a Tevin Farmer, I think because of that, he'll do better in front when it's time to fight Andy Cruz. And I think he's in that fight with Andy Cruz. But, that's him. And then with William Zepeda, it was just, William Zepeda, I just, veteran tactics kicked in because, Tevin Farmer hurt his arm. Well, Zepeda hurt Tevin Farmer's arm real early in the fight. He hurt his arm real early in the fight, and Tevin Farmer was just, just for the, I want to say until one of the mid-late rounds, like the mid-late rounds, the fight was getting away from him. He just went on a string and won consecutive rounds, Brody, with a fucked up arm. And veteran tactics kicked in. He muscled through the bullshit. He muscled through the pain. And a lot of people feel that he won that fight. I won't say that I think he won the fight. I'll say I understand why people think, and I made a video about it. I understand why people think he won that fight. That dude is nice, man. That dude is nice. But Schofield and, Team Schofield feel like they have a better shot at beating him as opposed to beating Abdullah Mason. And I'm here to tell you, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that because while I do think Floyd Schofield is a bigger puncher than William Zepeda, as far as punch for punch, not necessarily you breaking somebody down and it's an accumulation of pain, but exhaustion. I think Floyd Schofield is more of a concussive puncher than a William Zepeda. But he's not. I feel like William Zepeda's technique of punching. I think he has better punching technique than Floyd Schofield's. Floyd Schofield is, just there's certain things that he does. You dig? He's literally, they call him Sean Porter. Like Junior Sean Porter or whatever they call him for a reason. He'll overshoot on the shot and he's right up there in your wheelhouse. But it's not with the intent of he's still getting work off or nothing like that. He's stepping so deep in the pocket that he's smothering him. He's smothering his shots. The fight can come a little, muddy and clouded or whatever because he's just, it's not a clean fight. He's just looking, he's just looking to get up in, I'm about to say get up in you, get up on you. You know what I'm saying? He's looking to do that. He's a little bit wide with his punches as well. He's a little wide with his punches. He switch hits too, man. But I just think this switch hitting thing is getting a little ridiculous. Motherfuckers are just switching for the sake of switch hitting, and it's like, or whatever the fuck ever. But it is just, I just don't think he's as polished to deal with someone like a Tevin Farmer, dog. I ain't gonna care. I'm going with Tevin Farmer in this fight. I think Tevin Farmer is about to take this young into school. I think he's about to take young into school, Brody. When you're dealing with a veteran, dealing with a KG veteran who's been in there with everybody, going back to Jose Pedraza, and then you're in here with two youngins who's ascending in their 135-pound campaign. Oh yeah, man, this is the third youngin who's on the come up that he's taking. And both of the fights that he was in that he lost, or the other fighters that he was in with that he lost to were still competitive bouts. This dude don't need no playing with, man. But the thing is, they are a lot sharper than Floyd Schofield. They're a hell of a lot sharper, way sharp, like significantly sharper. It's not even comparable. Who's the sharper puncher between the two of them, or between the three? Those two and I don't know if I say William Skull, Floyd Schofield. It's no comparison, man. It's no comparison whatsoever. Floyd Schofield is not, he's just not compact with his punches, man. It's just, he'll throw caution to the wind, and you cannot afford to be that wide open with your punches in front of someone like a Tevin Farmer. He's going to be in your wheelhouse. He's going to be right there for you to hit, but you're going to get tired trying to hit this dude and realize that nothing is landing. Nothing is landing. Floyd Schofield has not fought anybody on the level of a Williams Zepeda or a Mutataya. And he's more of a natural 135-pounder, man. Tevin Farmer was a champion at 130. That he's beating you to fight in the caliber of these dudes right here. And he's still making it competitive to the point where you can say, yo, he got robbed in them fights. It's just a different can of gravy with Tevin Farmer, bro. And I just feel like Tevin Farmer is going to... Tevin Farmer's finna style on this dude. That's how I feel about it, man. Tevin Farmer is about to style on this kid, bro. He's about to style on this kid. I could be wrong. Tevin Farmer can go in there and get banished to the shadow realm and sit the hell. It could happen. But just off of what it is that I'm seeing, I'm going with Tevin. I'm going with Tevin, man. I keep saying this and people they laugh at me. Tevin Farmer still has the proper ingredients to become a champion again. He does at 135. At 135 pounds, you about to sit here and tell me Lamont Roach can beat a Tank Davis and Tevin Farmer can't become a champion again? I don't think so. I don't think so. I still have a high opinion of Tevin Farmer. I do. Because dude is nice. Dude is nice. And that's who I'm rolling with, man. I'm going with Tevin Farmer. And I think Tevin Farmer I think it's gonna be a clear win. I could be wrong. We not the most high. The best we could do is make it an astute analysis to the best of our capabilities by matching these two fighters up and breaking down how their last fights went, and breaking down their attributes as fighters, and what one does better than the next, and what one doesn't do as good as the next. And from what I'm seeing, I just don't see Floyd Schofield going in here and beating no Tevin Farmer on the scorecards, and I don't see him knocking him out neither. Because I don't think he punches sharp enough to be able to land significantly on Tevin Farmer. I don't. Now, it could happen, yeah. He could get in there and rough him up or whatever the case may be. He could definitely do that. He could push the pace. He could push the pace of the fight. He could do that. Get in his wheelhouse and just kind of like bully him around and all that. He could do that. He could definitely do that. But the thing is, man, when I'm in front of somebody who's throwing who threw over 1,000 punches, and I had to find a way to defend against that, what is it that you think you're gonna do? What is it that you think you're gonna do? You push me back, lean on me, or whatever. All right, cool. But if that's not being coupled with shots coming in 7-punch combinations, how are you going to beat me? He's not going to beat him on the cards. He has to go in here and knock Shakur. He has to go in here and knock Farmer the fuck out. He got to go in here and knock this nigga the fuck out. And I just don't see him doing that, bro. I don't see him doing that shit. Dog is nice. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go and listen to everybody else's breakdown on how they feel, their prediction on how they think this fight is going to go. Because, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. And I'm not saying it. I don't see no harm in losing to a Tevin Farmer either, because he's that good. But am I thinking too less of a Floyd Schofield? Possibly. But I just dig Tevin Farmer as a fighter, and I just think in this fight right here, with an unseasoned fighter who's at a point where he's turning down dudes who are still on the come up, dudes who ain't even fought in 10 rounders yet. You turning fights down with them. And you leaning in the direction, or him, and you leaning in the direction of a Tevin Farmer because you think that's an easier win. All right, cool. Okay, cool. All right, bet. And he's going in here with confidence, man. that you know, just you know, just sometimes you win in a loss. You win in a loss. So why you mad that you lost? Because that has to go on your resume. Yeah, you lost to this dude. And you know, just throughout the annals of time, after we long gone, they're gonna say Tevin Farmer lost to Ray Mahmoud Athier. Tevin Farmer lost twice back to back to William Zepeda. They're gonna say that, but because there's so much time in between when the fight actually went down and the fight, you know, and the you know, them talking about the fight however many years down the line, they're not going to be able to give context to to the fight. They're just going to say that he lost, and that's where the injustice comes into play. But living here in the now, seeing it live, both fights, all 3 fights. Oh yeah, you can say that he won. He has a legitimate argument that you can say that he won, and he's riding off that because it's people who feel like he won. So he ain't, he's mad, but he's also like, yo, all right, cool, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I like the confidence that he has going into this fight. And not even just the confidence, I just think from a skill set standpoint, a build-a-boxer type of individual, the intangibles, they are clearly in favor of a Tevin Farmer. They're clearly in favor of Tevin Farmer. And Floyd Schofield, I just feel like it's too unseasoned to be in there with someone like a Tevin Farmer because it's just so many deficiencies in his game. And I'm not throwing salt on the young because I think with his style, he's good for the game. He's good for the game. Anytime you got a game fighter, when you have a game fighter who's when you have a game fighter who wants to fight and they not being, they're not fighting off of the back foot. They looking to close the gap and do damage to you. That shit is dope. It's good for the game, and that's Floyd Schofield's style. So he's good for the sport of boxing. I'm not throwing salt on Youngin, but I just feel like it's just too early for him to be in there with someone like a Tevin Farmer. He needs this because he could go in there and prove me wrong. And if he can go in there and deal with the likes of a Tevin Farmer, he can deal with somebody with high IQ. He can deal with somebody who has who has a very high level of defensive prowess. He can go in there and he can deal with them better. But I just got to see it, and I have yet to see it. I've yet to see it. Oh, man. These punk ass cats. Stupid ass cats. But we'll see we'll see tomorrow night, man. I got Tevin Farmer winning by, 8-4, something like that. 8-4, 7-5, something like that. Something like that. I'm not going to OD and say 9-3. I won't say that. But I do think Tevin Farmer is going to stun on this little nigga. I just got to be real, almost embarrass him. I'm almost positive he's going to, embarrass this kid and just violate this dude, man. Not, physically, but just, mentally just touch him up. I don't think he's going to hurt him or nothing like that. I just think he's going to touch this dude and just violate him. So, yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it, man. I'm about to go in the house and kick my feet up. Punk ass cats and killed this bird. Mad about that shit. I should have took that little nigga on the porch. But it is what it is, man. I'm outie, man. I'll get with y'all later, yo. Stay righteous. Deuces.